When somebody finishes watching this video, what do you want them to remember from it?
I want you guys to remember me not as a person with disabilities, but as a person that, despite of what he's been through, he can still move forward. And if I did it, you can also do it.
Zaid, I'm happy to be here with you.
I'm happy to be here again.
What's it like to be doing your third interview?
I'll say I feel excited because there's so many surprises.
Zaid, I first met you when you were 16. You're 21 now, and this will be our third interview together. Before we get into everything you've been up to, would you mind introducing yourself for people who haven't met you yet?
Hi guys, I'm Zaid. I am a burn survivor and I'm visually impaired. This means that I can see a little bit, not a lot. I used to be blind when I was little, but now I can see like shadows. I can tell when the light is on and when the light is off. I can tell when people walk by. One thing I cannot tell though is colors. How do colors look like? But I know, like I can imagine them because before the accident happened, I used to see.
How old were you when you survived the burns?
I was 2.5 years old.
What would you say to somebody who is judgmental of those with differences?
I would say there's this saying, don't judge a book by its cover, because there's actually many great things you can find. It's like when you go to the ocean, you just think there's fish there. You think there's just crabs. Is there crabs in the ocean? I think so. I'm not sure. Anyway, but you expect to find seafood. See, you know what I mean. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it's like when you jump into an ocean, you don't know what things you're gonna find in there. There is history and there is story.
One of the reasons I was excited to see you today is just I want to really verbalize and communicate to you how much you mean to me. You're an awesome person. I'm really glad that our paths crossed. We've been friends for 5 years, and I'm just grateful that you're in my life.
Oh, thank you. That meant so much to me. I'll say, definitely, and I always say this because some people are like, are you glad that you're famous now? And I'm glad, yes, but it's also things to Chris. So you definitely have changed my life as well. You brought me new people into my life that I did not expect it, who say some things like, hey, I'm so proud of you.
It sounds like you've made a lot of friends recently.
Yes, I did.
How has friendship changed your life?
Definitely what I thought I will never have, I have now. And that is people beside me.
Tell me about your friendship with Benji.
I always saw him we shared a class actually. I think it was called Incubator.
Yeah, business incubator.
Business incubator, yeah. Slowly I started talking to him more, and then that's how our friendship started.
What did you think the first time you met Zaid?
Yeah, so me and Zaid had a business class together. We actually worked in the school store and we made shirts together. When I first met him, I went up to him and I was talking with him. I thought he was really funny at first. I thought he was funny, smart and kind. I thought he was a cool guy.
Yeah, there are that things, but I also try to enjoy the good moments. I also try to, despite of everything that I've been through, there's also great things about my life that I never thought that I would be thankful for.
Tell me about your friendship with Lee.
So I met her in ROTC. I could sense that she had a funny personality. So then I started to, tried to hang out more with her, and it was tough though for me. Not for her, I guess, but for me it was.
Why were you initially nervous to reach out and make friends?
Well, I will not like it. I didn't know how people would react, and also because back then my self-esteem was a little down. I can say I have peace with myself now. With before, I did not know what peace was. In fact, I haven't said this before, but actually, when I was a teenager, I was actually a troublemaker, and I was actually taking my anger out by being a troublemaker. But as time went on, there were people that helped me along the way. I would say making new friends has opened new doors. I always say each friend has their own, like, all friends are equal to me, like, everyone is equal to me. But I think each friend has a role that they change in my life. Some people are like, what can we do to make you feel better? And the thing I always say, just be yourself. Don't try to hide what you're, like, don't try to impress me by being someone that you're not. Just be yourself.
Lee, what was it like for you the first time you met Zaid?
I don't quite recall the first time I met him. He was always walking down the hallway, and I thought he was funny because he has his cane, and he's walking down the hallway, and if he thinks somebody's like walking in front of him, because high schoolers looking at their phone, he would take his cane and whack and try to hit people, which I think that's an abusive caneage there. But I thought it was funny, and it showed that he had a good personality. But I didn't talk to him until he came into ROTC class.
Zaid, you'll whack people out of the way?
No.
Don't even lie.
No, that's not true. I tried to move them out the way, like, because they were always getting in the way. So I try not to trip, and so I always try to make a noise that would make a signal that, hey, someone like who's visually impaired is coming through, So, but it wasn't like I meant to whack people on their face.
Did you have curiosity about Zaid's disabilities and what caused them? And did you ever have a conversation with him about it?
Yeah, I don't recall the exact conversation, but yeah, I definitely did. Yeah. I wasn't sure if he could see a little bit or, yeah.
What's it like to have those conversations with your friend Zaid?
It has gone a little easy, actually. When we first built that bond, me and Benjamin, I actually got the courage to say, like, what happened to me, and definitely I felt comfortable sharing the story. There are definitely good people out there who are willing to help. You just need to accept that you need help.
Tell me about your friend Gracie.
Benjamin said, hey, my family is going to eat. And I said, okay, cool. I hope you guys enjoy your meal, And he said, no, but they actually want you to come along. And I was surprised. I was like, what? Like, yeah. So he was like, yeah, so do you want to come? We went, and there he introduced me to everyone.
Why were you surprised that they invited you out to eat?
I was surprised because no one has ever invited me to eat, actually.
How old were you when you met them for the first time?
I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was last year.
So about 20?
Yeah.
What did it mean to you that they invited you out to eat for the first time?
It made me realize that there are nice people out there still.
Zaid, I thought it would be fun for me to share what it was like for me to meet you for the first time, from my perspective. Now that you're 21, I thought it would be cool for you to hear.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So the way we met is I was speaking at the Texas School for the Blind, and you were a student there. And after my speech, one of your teachers came up to me and said, I have this kid you need to meet. His name is Zaid, and he's a burn survivor. And he's 16 years old. and all I knew was that you were a burn survivor. So I got on my computer, I did a little bit of research of how burns can impact a person, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to meet Zaid. The next day I go, and I knock on your door, and I'll be honest, when I first met you, I was a little bit surprised because I didn't know that burns could impact a person in the way they impacted you. So at first I thought to myself, did I prepare accordingly? Do I have the proper accommodations? What do I do? But then after having these thoughts circling my head for a few seconds, I thought to myself, wait a second, this is just another guy. Let me just talk to him. And I said, hey Zaid, it's nice to meet you. And you said, oh, I'm excited you're here. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
What's it like to hear that from my perspective?
Definitely, I'll say it's, I feel like when two cultures meet each other, it's like a clash. But also, you get to learn about each other. You get to learn that, oh, maybe it's not so bad as I thought. And maybe it's not like I thought it was, but we can learn still from each other.
I think it's a great example of any time you're in a social situation and you don't know what to do, the first step is just saying hi.
Yes, definitely. He was there when I was struggling with negativity, and now there's a differences because, back then I used to feel like sad, and sometimes it was no reason to be sad. Sometimes it was just, depression, I guess. But then, it's like a new door opened up when I met Benjamin.
I mean, it's been very impactful to me as well. Zaid's resilience, Zaid's willingness to push and strive no matter what has been so inspiring. And it's been Zaid is a good friend of mine. It's been very impactful.
When you two hang out together, what do you do?
Normally, he'll be at the house and we'll just talk, or we'll be at church together, or maybe we'll go get a drink somewhere, or sometimes I'll just come sit on his porch or get food somewhere.
What did you think the first time Benji, your son, told you about Zaid?
I thought it was great. I thought it was great he had a friend like that, and like that. I'm sorry, Zaid.
Okay.
I said that. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Yeah, and then Benj said, well, I have Zaid with me. Do you want him to come eat? And I was like, yeah, because we hadn't had a chance to meet him. So, yeah. So it just kind of took off from there. I thought he was amazing. He walked in the restaurant and, he just pulls attention. He all eyes on him. And he sat down with us and I thought, man, he is one interesting person.
Are you aware of how the burns impacted your physical appearance?
I would say yeah, but I also try not to let that get on the way. I also try to I was trying to find a way. Even if when people say, how are you going to do that? How are you going to achieve that? I will answer, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know I'm going to do it somehow. Girls tell me, because I'm friends with a bunch of girls, and they say, Zaid, I don't think I'm pretty. And I'm like, girl, you are pretty. Otherwise, boys will not be after you. Otherwise, you'll not be having a boyfriend, And they laugh because that's how I joke, But I always told them, we all have something special. You have something special. And they asked me, what? And I told them, your personality. If you just express yourself, people will like you, And if people don't like you because their personality is not the right people to hang out with.
What was it like for you when you first met Zaid?
I don't know. I met him from my brother Benjamin. And I don't know, I just thought he was a really cool guy. I was just like, oh, he's my brother's friend, so it must be nice.
What has been the best thing about gaining so many close and wonderful friends?
I guess what's best is that I am not alone anymore, like as I thought I was before. When people say hi to me, it gives me the power to open up more. Because then that means I don't have to start conversation. They already started it with me, and so I just open up, and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And
One of the things that Zaid's leaving out that has really changed his life is like we'll go into Walmart and people will run up to him. Are you Zaid? Are you Zaid? And he and his mom. And they recognize him. We went to the Houston Zoo in the gift store. They're like, are you Zaid? So it's pretty cool.
What's that like, Zaid? Do you like it, or is it something that you could live without?
I like it. It's gonna get hard. It's gonna get a little tricky to get used to, but I think I can manage it, and I like it too, so,
So now you don't have to worry about being shy because people will come up and say hi.
Exactly. So that's one good thing about it.
What has it been like with millions of people hearing your story now online? Has that changed anything about your life?
Definitely. I would say now people are like, hey, I know you from the interview. How you been doing? And like, I'm doing good, thanks. And you, yeah, I'm doing good too. Hey, by the way, can you give me advice? And I'm like, look, I can give you advice, but the key is whether you're willing to do what the advice asks you to do. I'll describe it like this. It's when you ask for, a diet, but you have to follow the diet, It's like that, if that makes sense.
So you've gotten so popular, you have random people on the street coming and asking for advice.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you give to a stranger?
Depends on what the problem is. Most of the problems, I'll say, I have tried to give advice are to people who are depressed, actually. And I just tell them, I understand how you are. No, sorry, I understand how you feel because I was at the same place before. And let me tell you, you're not alone, that you have people that care for you.
Zaid, what advice would you have to somebody who's in the headspace you were as a teenager, who's scared to socialize and scared to put themselves out there?
So at first it's not gonna be easy, but the more you keep trying, the more easy it gets.
What advice do you have for somebody who is depressed and they want to find a way out of it?
I would say ask for help. Don't just be like, I can't do this anymore. I'm alone. I'm feeling bad. And I'm not trying to make fun of nobody, but that's how I was. And if you don't accept that you need help, there is no one that is going to help you, unfortunately. You just need to accept that you need help. And also willing to put an effort to it. Because you can do it. If I did it, then you can also do it. And sometimes I always say to people, you're complaining how your life is miserable. You're complaining how there's things in the world that bother you. But have you ever looked at yourself? Have you ever, ask yourself, what's happening inside of my feelings? Am I okay? Am I good? Do I need help?
Hello, it's good to be here with you again.
Hola.
Dice, hola, es un gusto estar contigo nuevamente.
Pues igualmente también me da gusto verlo otra vez.
It's a pleasure to see you again.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak English, Spanish, and I learned a little bit of Mandarin when I was in high school because, you have to take language credits. So I took Mandarin and I took French.
What has it been like seeing Zaid grow up to be this young man?
¿Cómo te sientes ver de que Zaid ha crecido y se ha convertido en este maravilloso joven?
Pues estoy orgulloso de él porque ha aprendido muchas cosas a hacer.
I'm so proud of him because ¿puedes repetir otra vez?
Que me da que estoy orgulloso de ti que porque has aprendido muchas cosas.
I'm so proud of him because he has learned a lot. I tried college, and although I dropped out, I'm proud of it because at least I give it a try. Another thing was ROTC. I definitely did not expected how far I have gone in there. I did not expect making new friends in there. I did not expect to even, to be honest, I expected to fail. And I expected to drop out of ROTC too. But never to me had occurred that you're gonna make friends there. You're gonna, find somebody that like makes jokes with you harsh.
Me and Zaid have a type of banter where we go back and forth and make jokes at each other. And if you did not know us and you just heard us out of nowhere, you'd be like, "Oh my God, she's so mean. Why did she say that to him?" And then Zaid, he makes the same jokes right back at me, and it always makes me nervous because people will be like, why she's so what a horrible person. But we just talk like that.
Zaid, what is it like to find a friend who has the same sense of humor as you?
I would say I feel good. Like I feel good because, at this time, I feel like most people are a little sensitive.
What was your college experience like?
It was a good experience, though. Like I said, I did not I lost a couple of months, but then, college is not for everyone, and it was not for me. It didn't work for me. It doesn't mean that it's not gonna work for you, okay? I'm saying it did not work for me. It may work for you, it may not, but I would say definitely give it a try, because you will not know unless you give it a try.
What does your mom help you with on the regular day?
Mostly just cooking food. That's all, pretty much. I mean, I'm still learning. Like, I actually don't know how to cook myself, but I know how to heat up stuff in the microwave. And she helps me mostly with cooking food. And she's like, "Hey, Sai, food is ready, stuff." But that's all. Mainly, I do things on my own. And another thing she's good at helping me is, like she said, just inspire me to move forward and give me advice when I'm struggling. I'm definitely in a spot where I say, wow, never thought I was going to get to this moment. Back then when I was little, if you have asked me, and we're talking when I was around 7 years old or 8, if you have asked me, you think you're going to get so far? I would have said to you, no. Because back then, my mom was everything for me. She was my hands, my eyes, everything, pretty much.
Él solo, cuando yo a veces vengo, no lo encuentro en la casa y le tengo que mandar mensaje donde anda porque ahora él sale solo. Ya no me ocupa como antes.
He goes out more alone this time. I don't have to be there for him. And sometimes I had to call him to ask him, "Hey, where are you?" Because he goes out with his friends now.
Pues me alegro de Saí porque antes se ponía triste porque no tenía amigos.
I'm happy for Zaid because before he was sad that he not had no friends.
Pero ahora que ya tiene amigos, pues la veo más contento, más animado de seguir.
But now that he has friends, now I see him more happy and willing to move forward.